The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya here in Spain hosts round number 6 of the FIA Formula 2 campaign in 2024. Warmers getting ready for the qualifying session to begin here. Let's check in with Chris McCarthy alongside Alex Brundle.
A place where you could say we make or break your season, a place where you could flip a season on its head or really get into a good run of form. My name's Chris McCarthy, alongside me Alex Brundle climbing into the car, Pepe Marti. Alex, great to have your company. If you're joining us, great to have your company. Alex, what do you think now coming into this European leg of the season? We have a triple header, great challenges for the drivers coming up.
Yeah, and a challenge coming up over the next half an hour as well. Qualifying ever critical around Barcelona. It's a difficult place to overtake, especially after the changes that we've seen to the circuit in recent times. Turn 10 being opened slightly, a reduction in the length of the braking zone as a result. And those two DRS zones sometimes difficult to make work. So this can be a key challenge for the drivers throughout the weekend to make sure they're in the right position to start, as you correctly said at the top of the broadcast, Chris. Both races, both the sprint with the reversal of the top 10 and indeed the feature race. It'll be the soft compound tyre. They have 2 sets of those that they'll qualify on throughout this 30-minute session.
It's going to be a very crucial 30-minute session. Alongside the commentary box is known to you on YouTube as the Little Owl, known to us as Jack up here in the comms box. Welcome back, Jack. And another 30-minute session where we'll have about 3 runs in the boiling heat here in the commentary box, and everyone goes, who's going to be on pole position? Nobody's got a clue. It's a mad session again.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting session. It's the first time we've been to this track, of course, with the new F2 cars, as we can see Ollie Behrman just in his cool, I think that's a cooling vest.
Yeah, wish I had one.
Yeah, same. But no, it's going to be a really interesting session. My personal bet, I'm going to go with, you know what? I'm gonna stick my nose out here and say Ollie Behrman's gonna get the pole.
There's Dorian Pin, of course, on the circuit as well. No, it's Andrea Giovinazzi, but Mercedes' his Instagram post messed them up quite a lot last week as well. If you're wondering where I was going with that, it was quite funny actually as well. But they both share the same cooling jacket, so it's easy to get confused. F1 Academy is out later on in the session. There's Paul Aron, championship leader. He's fastest. Well, he was really quick this morning, wasn't he, Jack, though? Outstanding session from Paul Aron.
Oh, yeah, he was fast. Of course, younger brother of Ralph Aron. So, racing does run in the family. And it's also interesting to see another... little off topic here, but it's interesting to see another Estonian in a high-tech. The last one was Yuri Vips.
Yeah, it's weird that they keep bringing them in, isn't it? As well, there's Estonian drivers are sort of they're growing in motorsports, which is what I like to see.
Yeah, no, it's great. And you've got Tanak over in the WRC too.
Tanak's going to be, absolutely fantastic, isn't he? To watch his skill behind the wheel. Yeah. Just thinking about drivers who are going up as we now take a look. There's Ollie Behrman putting on his helmet. Already had this is his 3rd session of the day, of course, because he was involved with F2 practice, then hopped straight over to Haas for their F1 guide. Now he's back in his Prema overalls, getting into his F2 car. So a lot of track experience for him today. And is that going to benefit him for qualifying? He did in Azerbaijan last year. Do you reckon it could be a positive that he could steal the pole or some points? He desperately needs it as well after missing out those first 3 rounds of the championship with no points.
Absolutely, it will benefit him. Absolutely. The more track time you get, the better when it comes to these open wheel cars. The more, in general in racing, the more track time, the better you're going to get. Because you're going to get used to the track, you're going to get more time getting used to the car, the tyres, the new setup changes, all of that. The more experience you get, and then you can try and figure out where the limit of the car is, so you can push to that limit and maybe even beyond it to if you're a particularly special driver.
Got some news in between the gap between F3 and F2's qualifying session. It is of an F1 nature, but it links to F2. In terms of F2, Ollie Bearman, I'm being understood, has signed with Haas for next year. But we're just going to hear quickly now from
But Monaco is a very specific track, so I wouldn't say that the fact that we were strong there in qualifying means that now we will be strong here. But I have full faith in High Tech. I know they've been working flat out during this break that I had, basically, or the drivers had. And yeah, this is a track where we had 3 days of testing, so it'll be interesting to see how the teams rank against each other, because all the other tracks, we haven't had any experience really with this car.
No, and usually have some pre-season testing here. We don't anymore. But yes, Ollie Bearman has signed with Haas for next year, but also what was supposed to be announced this weekend, especially today, but has been delayed until at least Silverstone, is where Carlos Sainz is going to be racing. Yes. Now,
I didn't even know that. Fair enough.
considering that it's been possibly delayed until Silverstone, that tells me Williams.
I agree, because the British team.
Yeah. And if apparently the money's been sorted, it's all signed, it's all done. So we don't know the team, but Sainz has a drive for next year. That seems to be the paddock gossip coming through.
To him for having a drive for next year, because this guy's a talent. He's a real talent. He's won not several, but he's won a few Grand Prix. That takes talent, and he needs to be on the grid here. I'm happy he's still going to be here next year.
I think Williams is a nice fit for him as well, because Williams, having Sainz and Albon, it's a very strong lineup, and they would be regularly in the points, but also they're growing that team more and more. So we'll get onto that more in FP2 coming up in a little while. First lap times coming on the board though. The banker qualifying times. Paul Aron is a 1:25.385. Dennis Hauger's a 1:25.604. Franco Colapinto 1:25.613. We're on board with Gabriel Borzaletto coming into turn 12. He's got a yellow flag in sector 2, and that is a stationary yellow flag, so it must be down at turn 5 at Sead, I reckon. Someone's gone. Oh no, it's into the barrier at Kampsa for what? And it's a red flag to the session. It's one of the AIX cars, and I wonder, is that Joshua? Is it Taylor Barnard? It's Barnard. It's Barnard. Barnard's in the wall. Oh.
Ah.
Man, winner in Monaco has hit the barrier here at Kampsa. It looks like he's had an oversteer snap and the car's gone straight towards the barrier there. I'm okay, we can see he's okay. Yeah, he snapped it coming through Kampsa and it spat him into the wall of the old layout.
It's the odd wreck to have.
Yeah, that is odd, isn't it? It's almost like we had Kovalainen going in 2008.
Yeah.
He's out of the car, he's okay. But Taylor Barnard will start this race at the back of the grid, both of them as well. Let's take a look then, Jack. Turns in. Yeah.
Snaps. Bang.
Could have been worse. We've had bigger accidents at that part of the track. I remember standing. See where the globe barriers are? I remember standing there when Gasly crashed.
Two car.
I crashed, mate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I crashed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I remember standing there when Gasly crashed in testing as well. It was a bit of a similar one actually as well. But he turned in, the car snapped mid-corner, it pirouetted round, it sort of did a 360 in the gravel, and it ended up backwards and then damaged the complete rear right side of the car. And of course, the late great Charlie Whiting was out there taking a look at the circuit and the safety car. I always regret there on the last day of testing. This is honestly one of my biggest regrets. The last day of testing, at the lunch break, I was just outside the media centre, but I went into the race control building because they were the only one that had a bathroom. So I used the bathroom in the race control building. Came out, went down some steps, and there's the race director's door. And I knew Charlie was in there having lunch because he wasn't in the main control room. And I regret so much not knocking on that door. and talking to and having a word with him. Because of course 2 weeks later, he passed away, and I couldn't believe it. And
That was a real shock to the entire F1
Yeah.
community, because Charlie, I know everyone disses him sometimes. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant at his job. He's probably the best race director we've had in, personally, my time watching F1.
ever. Roland Butcherrider was a
Maybe
good director,
ever.
but not that greatest. But Charlie was the best race director we've ever had, hands down.
Knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Now Niles Wittek, of course, in control.
Yeah. And also you had the infamous Michael Massey.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. Michael did a good job until Abu Dhabi.
I agree.
Yeah. Until he got pressured on the radio by the...
I actually agree with you. I thought
Yeah.
he did a very good job.
Yeah.
It's just the F1 fans on Twitter said otherwise.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, under Michael Massey, F1 races, even though Charlie implemented the rule, it's at the race director's discretion. But under his rule, Michael Massey, we got standing start restarts. So we got, we got safety. We got the safety car starts, but then even though it was still wet on the track, we then had standing starts in damp conditions. More after this.
I had a very costly mistake that was completely unnecessary in quali, and from then I kind of realized that maybe I have to change my mindset. Maybe I have to approach it as it is. No, a new category for me, a new field, a new way to drive, and in the end I think I've been approaching it wanting to win too much, and maybe it's better to try to just enjoy the ride, try to enjoy the process. I feel like in Monaco I had really good pace, but just things didn't go our way, but I'm confident that if we keep working in this direction, results will come.
Kenny says on a 35-second delay, but agree race director-wise Charlie was the most consistent he was. But yeah, just go back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he didn't let the teams push him around all that lot. He always was available to the media to explain why. And I think in a very difficult situation in Spa in 2021, he handled it with perfection to that he tried his absolute best to get us a race, but it just couldn't happen.
I agree with you. I do feel really bad for Michael in that situation because he got a lot of criticism. Personally, I know I'm much more for safety than some people. I would have just called the race there and then without even doing any laps, because we'd have done the formation lap and I'd have just got. Since the weather just wasn't getting any better, here is Barnard's accident again. But for me, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He's absolutely brilliant at his job, Michael Massey, until that Abu Dhabi weekend. He just got pushed around a little bit more.
Yeah, overwhelmed.
He got pushed around too much.
Yeah, he was overwhelmed,
That's the issue.
stressed.
He let them push him around. That's the issue.
And then that rule got changed, but
yeah,
he was used as a scapegoat. Not right at all. Not right. Does a great job now in the Supercars.
I do feel he kind of had to go after Abu Dhabi.
Had to, yeah.
Because he had to go, but I do feel awful for him because honestly, I thought he did a brilliant job in what was an incredibly tense title fight.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the best title fight I think we've ever seen in F1, to be quite frank with you.
Level on points to the last race. I know 2021 we'll never see the likes of again, and I loved how we were able to call it all. Yeah.
No. Never see that again. That was just... I am thankful that I lived to experience that, to be quite frank.
That was Senna Prost.
Because every single race had a storyline.
Yeah.
Every single race, you had something to take away from it, no matter what.
We were flying in that one, yeah.
Oh, God.
That wind's picking up a bit now, isn't it? And the session's going to restart in a minute's time. But that wind's picking up. Temperature at 46.2.
I agree, Kenny. Kenny in the chat, I actually agree with him here. About Massey being pressured, one of the things people don't talk about is we got the FIA radio for the first time that year.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it had always been like that, we just never heard it. I completely agree with you, mate. Yeah. I completely agree.
It's enough. Under Charlie, now here's the thing, under Charlie Whiting, what his system is what's in place now, is that he used to have Herbie Blash alongside him. And Charlie would be the race director dictating the race, controlling the marshals and all that lot. And if the team principals wanted to talk to the race director as we head back to green flag, they would phone up race control, but they would speak to Herbie Blash. And if it was urgent, he would speak to Charlie Whiting. But that's where it was that buffer system. Michael Masi didn't have that buffer system. He was having to do everything, so he got overwhelmed. So ever since then, Herbie Blash did come back, but I think he's now left again in terms of it. But that system's back in place where the race director has sort of like a first officer alongside him in the pit lane. Speaking of which, one of the high-techs, Paul Aron, I believe, has got a bit of engine trouble here, and I think it's stalled the car. Which one is it? I can't tell coming out of the pit lane. Paul Aron's out of the pits, so it's the other one.
Aron.
Yeah, it's Paul Aron. Yeah. No, it's, Aron's out of the track apparently, so it's the other one.
Okay, no, never mind.
There we go. It's the 16. It's Cordeal, who's changed livery.
Don't make a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Cordeal's changed livery this weekend. He's back to the normal high-tech silver. Confused? Yeah, I know I am. Behrman hasn't fired up the car yet. Just quickly as well, saying Barnard's session is officially over with the new regulations about F2 red flag qualifying as well. His troubles continue as he's also having grid penalty carry on for last race. So I believe that'll be turned into a pit lane start then. If he has a grid penalty and can't serve it, it'll become a pit lane start. So that's pretty much done for Barnard then. That was from the previous Monaco, yeah. On board with Colapinto through Kamsa. This is a build-up lap. And 21 minutes. This is going to have a knock-on effect then to F1. Doesn't it always? It's a stupid idea putting the qualifying sessions so close together. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, it's more entertainment for me. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Like I get less breaks without watching some brilliant racing, but you know, I do think it from a driving perspective, it's a bit of pressure.
It's got to get it in before this time. If we have another red flag, then we're going to be getting into trouble zone.
Yeah. At least it's only a practice session.
It's called. Oh, yeah, for F1, yeah.
Yeah, it's only practice. An F1 Academy, I forgot about that.
Yeah, qualifying session coming up 20 minutes after? Half an hour after. Because we've also got the Porsches out there for their practice session after all this.
Oh, yeah, true.
And then they only get 3 sessions, practice qualifying and a race. Sometimes no Porsches. Sorry, no Porsches. I've just been reminded.
They're not here then?
Porsches are not here, no. They're back in Austria.
What?
Yeah, Porsche's in Austria. It's F1 Academy that's taken their slot.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's the first time in F1 that we have all of the support categories here in the F1 Academy. In terms of, we have F1, F2, F3 and F1 Academy. So all the single-seaters are here for the first time. The whole ladder is here, which is nice at this circuit.
Yeah.
But slightly disappointing.
I do like some variety though.
Yeah, Porsches are nice to throw it in. I always like the Porsche racing, it's quite nice.
Yeah, same.
Saying that, I'm probably missing Austria. Am I doing Austria or am I missing Austria? I can't remember now. I know I didn't do Monaco. I'm all over the place with timings at the moment. That's next week's problem, I've got to remind myself. Okay, while the drivers are on the circuit, let's check in with the world feed as Paul Aron goes back down the pit lane.
Get their flying lap in. Paul Aron then.
Yes, Jest in Monaco, yeah. Thought so.
Let's see what's going on with him.
Well, as they've all come out, the drivers that went out have now come in. Bortoleto personal best, 126.126. So P8 for Gabriel Bortoleto. Is this just first runs complete?
Just a bit of a look at the racetrack, perhaps, or it's done his first run, and they want to send him on an out-in to put him back on fuel for his second run for Paul Aron. Of course, they are down in the F1 pit lane. They do not have refueling apparatus in the pit lane. They're not allowed to do so anyway. So your only way to manage fuel through this session is to run the car. So they've given Aron another look at the racetrack and put him back on fuel for the end.
Yeah, essentially, that still seems to make sense. So it might just be a case of burning some fuel, as you mentioned, keeping those tyres on. Well, now we are on a we're sort of split into two groups now, aren't we? Those who got a lap in and those who didn't.
What that does tell me with Aaron is that they don't think that after having done a heat cycle, that set of soft tyres will go again.
Right.
So that gives you a real feel for the amount of running that the soft tyre will do, which is not a lot.
One lap?
Yeah, but a full heat cycle changes the tyre fundamentally. You might be able to get a push-pull-push out of the tyre when it's at operating temperature. When it cools down completely, it won't give you the same grip again because the surface of it cures and damages, and then you don't have ever quite the same peak again. And clearly they're feeling that for Aaron at the moment, but I would be surprised to see significant improvements on a second flying lap, yeah.
So those, we talked earlier about track limit penalties being quite damaging, and I think we can further solidify that point and say yes, they're going to be very damaging if you get one on your first pushback.
Yeah, it could easily be the lap, and the opening drivers be a bit cautious in those early runs. Everybody was well clear of the runoff out of turn 14, and they're just making sure they get those laps in and making sure they get themselves on the board. Of course, we saw almost the whole field within a second in free practice. That's how close it is.
Yeah.
So a banker is not going to be good enough to get yourself in a decent grid position for this weekend.
Yeah, we're already well quicker.
I wish Chris McCarthy would shut up when Alex is talking. Like, he's talking over and going, yep, yeah. It's like, no, just, really annoys me.
Let the man speak.
Yeah. It's called delicate pausing. And they're not in different commentary boxes either. They are right next to each other. Go away, antivirus. What the hell's happened to my monitor? I just realised something. Oh dear, something's going wrong with my graphics at the moment in this commentary box. It's like earlier on. Don't know what happened to my computer monitor. Cars coming down pit lane. Honestly, if anyone knows what's wrong with, I don't know, computers these days, could you let me know? Because it's driving me up the wall trying to fix all this. Everything is knackered. I've never seen such a balmy track design in my life. Right, head back to the world feed quickly while I try and fix this mess.
Two purple sectors so far, and those coming behind him on the racetrack have not been able to eclipse him in those two sectors critically, arcing it through the final two corners of the lap, keeping it well within track limits. He may well have another set of tyres to play with as well. Isaac Hadjar comes across the line, P1 for the Campos driver.
And let's jump on board with his teammate Pepe Marti up to the line, the home crowd cheering, but only P11 for him. I said Kimi Antonelli was going quick. Let's see his teammate first. P11 for him as he comes across the line, so not the best time for him. But here comes Kimi Antonelli, looking quite quick out there. P2 onto the front row for the young Italian driver.
Now that's much better, isn't it, Jack? That's the legacy that we want to see coming from Antonelli. Up to P2, Maloney goes in fourth, but Hadjar with the top time. But Antonelli finally starting to prove why we need to be going on about him so much.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't expect him to get too adjusted to the F2 car so quickly. He has skipped F3, so it's going to be a big jump. And when he was at the back, at the start of the season, I was not all that surprised. But that is the kind of lap that we want to see from Andrea Kimi Antonelli, the reigning Formula Regional European champion, just behind Isaac Hadjar.
So, now we saw 5 drivers inside a thousandth of a, well, it's all inside a tenth of a second in F3.
Mate, I almost crashed 3 times. A lot of orbits there, the car really unbalanced.
Yeah, Martin's not like it. But now, Hadjar's a tenth and a half clear of Antonelli. So, the F2, a lot more spread out than what the F3 was, but still, 21 drivers separated by 1.8 seconds. Which is the entire field, basically. Because
Except for Barnard.
Who crashed,
Yeah.
So everyone set compared to that time is still up there. Oh, this is going to get good. It's building now. But I have the field coming back into the pit lane now after that only lap. F2 and F3 have become too similar with their tyre developments and qualifyings.
And they have got most of the same teams, to be fair, though.
Yeah, same runarounds. This is Marty saying he is nearly crashing, isn't he? That's coming out of 6 and 7 into 8. So he's really struggling for grip. And at Campsa too. Rear tyres aren't sticking down.
Oh, he is drifting that thing about like a drift car right now. It's probably not very nice for him, but it's lovely for me to watch.
So Crawford and Correa heading out back into the pit lane. Let's head back to the world feed.
Wise down there, you know, whether he's actually, you know, the setup is, because you wouldn't imagine that the aim for the two cars would be vastly different in terms of setup. So whether the actual setup has been applied to the car correctly, or indeed if he has any kind of error or issue, because that looks like a really tricky car to drive.
Kushmaini just 200ths away from being crucially inside the top 10, and a reverse grid sprint race pole position. Only needs to go and find 200ths of a second. Then come the dams. Josh Dirksen having a good session for him so far. But it's Isaac Hadjar, a 10th and a half clear. And that's a really, really good time from him as we all come in, take a bit of a breath and a fresh set of tyres, and then we will go again.
Scooped up all the sectors, didn't he, Hadjar? Put them together. Looking then into the eyes of Kushmaini a few moments ago. Driver who's behind the wheel again of an Alpine Formula 1 car, Alpine connected driver, of course, in recent times. He's had a couple of runs now, described it as a great experience, one of the best of his life. Sitting just outside the top 10 now, and will be looking to make a critical bit of progress. A bit of debris there in the pit lane.
Just having to take avoidance there, Correa.
Looked like a tin of beans, didn't it? Someone had dropped out of a hospitality unit, maybe a Coke can, perhaps more realistic.
Seemed a bit more realistic, didn't it?
Other fizzy beverages are available. Just look in the F1 paddock.
As we make our way down pit lane to return to pit boxes and get going. Bearman, well, he's got a lot of work to do, isn't he? We talked about Pepe Marti struggling. Ollie Bearman struggling as well.
Really is. And I'd love to see his lap again. I'm presuming, as I look at the sectors of it, most of the time loss is in the last part of the lap. So he loses around half a second, just under 4 tenths in the final part of the lap. There's a reasonable amount in the middle sector as well. So it's just not connected up in all sectors for Bearman.
It looks 6 tenths, I think that is, in the middle, yeah.
Slightly longer sector, but just
a bit everywhere, yeah.
A little bit nowhere at that stage. Bearman, whether he didn't have the tyre underneath him.
We've got the same scenario with both, haven't we? We've got Hadjar first, Pepe Marti 19th, both Campos. Antonelli second, Bearman 18th, both Kramer.
When you look at the times as they're playing out, the thing is, there's not actually that much. It's just over a second between them. A lot of time at this level, but even still, interesting to see how it's playing out between the drivers as Kimi Antonelli looks into the data a little bit more.
Well, we can see the Kimi Antonelli just getting ready. Zane Maloney. Now we look at, and we spoke to team principal down there at Rodin Motorsport, Ben Huntingford, yesterday.
It's always difficult to stay at the front, and you know, you always feel like you're trying to defend that position when you are in the lead of the championship. And I think, you know, what will be good for Zane now is that he's got to work towards getting that back rather than trying to retain it. And he's, you know, he's a great racer, and you know, he's always liked to, you know, to be pushing forward and racing as hard as he can. So I think that, you know, being in the position he's in, you know, will just inspire him to push harder and try and get back to where he was.
10th in the series last year, Zane Maloney, as a Red Bull connected driver, now moves across to the Sauber Academy, erstwhile leader of the championship. And Ben Huntingford's absolutely right there. He doesn't have that pressure anymore, does he? Of being the championship leader. He can battle to take that position back. Not had the overall strongest start to this weekend, but we know the quality's in there for the Rodin driver, so let's see.
Yeah, well, let's see if he can get that championship lead back. He's certainly giving himself a good chance, isn't he? Fourth in qualifying so far, but as they all come back out onto pit road and onto the circuit, slightly slow travelling Josh Dirksen and Franco Colapinto just making himself known in the mirrors to say, can you get a move on, please? And I think Josh Dirksen complies with that. Hurry up. Zane Maloney giving himself a good chance here in qualifying, as is this driver here, Kimi Antonelli.
Kimi Antonelli waiting till absolutely the last moment. Of course, they've got to get out there, build this set of tyres up to operating temperature, give it a chance, and then get their lap in. They've got 7.5 minutes left on the clock, so the optimum time to qualify your Formula 2 car is coming to them now, and this is the business end then of the qualifying session here. Both Prema cars, Line Astern out of the pit lane, have taken themselves out of the traffic there, and the field are going to be coming through in unison here, and timing screen going to be looking like a slot machine, no doubt, at the end of this set of runs, because they'll have learned everything from that first run on the soft compound tyre, and now it's a case of applying it as they move through to the end of the session.
That's what we're going to be looking forward to with 7 minutes to go. This is more unsafe releases, though, coming out of the pit lane. Oh, and it's Fittipaldi. He's going to get blocked up.
You guarded an unsafe release. I almost hit him. Copy that? You've seen it?
Yeah, that's an unsafe release.
Yeah, majority of the field there, Jack, though, side by side. Look at that.
Yeah, Hadjar will get a fine for that, probably. Because that is an unsafe release. As you can see, Hadjar had to go right on the brake. Not Hadjar, my bad.
Yeah.
Fittipaldi had to get right on the brake, so it's not even the right team.
It's the heat. We're not used to it as Brits. It's getting hotter and hotter. What's the temperature
Oh
right
no,
now?
it's going to get hotter, mate.
Yeah, it's 23 degrees right now.
Yeah.
Don't like
You gotta
it.
feel sorry for me. On Monday, I'm heading outside, and it's like 28 degrees or something.
For comparison, it's 23 degrees here in the UK at the moment. Over in Spain, at Montemelio, it is 25.2. So it's roughly the same temperature. And let me tell you something, it's warm without air conditioning. I keep saying, as Polo 1 gets out of the way, I just want somebody to cut holes in the roof and put an air conditioner right above where me and Megan stand in this commentary box. That would be so nice. Even an extractor fan, something. Although, the rain will probably screw it all up, won't it? If it rains. I'm sure we can do something about it. Jess is probably sat there right now rolling her eyes, because she's going to have Megan complaining about the heat in F1 Academy in their qualifying session later on this afternoon. Hadjar 125.205. Look, everyone's just watching the timing screen on an iPad in the garage. Away we go then. 5 minutes to go. Push lap, cool lap, another push lap. That's what they're all going for. That's what they're all planning. And it is getting very, very exciting. Oh, everyone's sliding around through 1 and 2. Looks like he's got some Porsche sponsorships there as well now on the side of the car there, Jack. So it looks like maybe a Porsche deal coming into his works.
Maybe. That would be interesting. I mean, wasn't there a rumour that Porsche were going to join F1 a while ago?
There was a rumour, yeah. It looks like they're going to wait to see what Audi do, aren't they? And then see if they want to come in themselves.
Yeah, that would be cool to see Porsche in. Although they'll probably get rejected by Formula 1 again.
Yeah. No. It's
If Andretti gets rejected.
Yeah,
If Andretti gets rejected, anyone can get rejected, bro.
Well, you say that, but Porsche are European and a manufacturer, so...
Good point, actually.
Yeah, they'll probably get welcomed with opening arms. Aron is 2.5 tenths of a second faster than Hadjar at the moment, so this gap's coming down. Maeta's fastest first sector. He too fresh off a stint in Le Mans last week. A lot of dust being kicked up as well. Paul Aron up towards the line, kicks the rear tyre out and goes provisionally pole by 4.5 tenths of a second. 1:24.766. Maloney's jumped up into third.
Though.
Yeah, this is really strong. Slow middle sector, but really strong here from Mayata in the car. Well, the Rodin car.
Go, 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 go.
He's second.
Yes, come on.
1:24.948. What an outstanding time. Colapinto's up as well in the middle sector. Cordial's gone 8th. Hauger is improving. Here's Hadjar.
Man, that was the worst warm-up of my life.
Worst warm-up of my life as Hauger goes 4th. Here comes Franco Colapinto. Dirksen goes 3rd for AIK. Colapinto 2nd. 6 thousandths of a second off the pace of Paul Aron. It's getting close. Bortoleto double downshift. That's not going to do much. Across the line. 3rd fastest. 55 seconds up. Wow. 55 thousandths of a second off of Paul Aron. Wow, this is the new Gambit time, isn't it, Jack, as well? This is really good stuff. Go! Look at Crawford! 2 thousandths of a second!
Wow, what a time.
Antonelli goes 5th. It's Simon 10th.
Not so good.
Behrman, so the top 3 separated by 6 thousandths of a second.
I hope we see this in F1, man. I really do.
Well, we got it in Canada. Can we have it in Catalonia? Here's Colapinto. Oh, we got a slide.
That's where he loses it. That's where he loses the time.
Oh, and he's got the grass at the exit of the line as well. So the rear was just stepping up massively, and then he's just drifted onto the grass. That's a weird one.
That's where he missed a lot of time. That must be where he lost it, because he was off by like 6,000. Why did he just drive into the grass? Like, mate, you're not in a rally car.
Must have looked down at
further
something.
investigation.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Okay. Probably doing that.
I'm quite surprised about that.
I am. Now they've got time to do another one if they want to. It was a cool push. 1:13 on the clock. Everyone out there. Aron's done it. Aron's into the pits. He's happy. So's Hadjar and Maloney. And for sure, Cordial's just coming out now to do a lap. Marty's in. I think that might be it there, Jack. I think Paul Aron might have pole, and the top 3 separated by 6 thousandths, the top 4 by 55 thousandths of a second.
My question is also Joshua Dirksen, 7th place, Correa in 8th. What an odd qualifying session. Everyone's where they probably shouldn't be.
I hope they're not
No
planning
offense to them, of course.
I hope they're not planning on ending the qualifying stream early because it's just changed over.
Come on, mate. Tell me we're okay. Say something. I have to wait.
What is
No,
going-
we are out! No! 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 So sorry. No!
6 thousandths of a second. Hadjar lost out to Maney for reverse grid pole position in tomorrow's race. So Paul Aron, as the clock ticks 0, Paul Aron has pole position for the feature race of the Catalan event for Formula 2 here in Spain. Crawford 2nd, Colapinto 3rd, Bortoleto 4th, all separated by 55 thousandths. Sprint race pole goes to Kushmaini. But Isaac Hadjar, as we heard Jack, furious with what happened.
Yeah. Gutted for him. Really am. I'm just gutted. I understand that frustration, man.
Oof. What a session. Let's head to the world feed then and get the last thoughts as well, because actually Sky going off air, I'm being told. Okay, so it's a quick off for them as well because of that red flag going long. They've got to get to some ad breaks as well. So channel Sky take it off now as well. So Jack, last thoughts from you?
Not much from me, just congratulations to Paul Aron. What a this might be the closest F2 qualifying session of all time, actually, to be fair.
I think it
and
is,
well done
yeah.
to Crawford, and let's go, Bortoletto in 4th. Gotta love that for the McLaren Junior, and congrats to Miney on reverse grid pole.
It's going to be an absolutely perfect sprint race. Join us tomorrow for all the action as well. After FP3 is when we see Formula 2 go racing. Next up, though, it's Formula 1 and FP2. See you soon. Bye-bye.